These are the 9 best ways to use your chase points to get maximum value. Now I'm gonna go through and rank every single one of them so that you don't have to. And if you're new around here, hi, my name is John of John's Finance Tips. This is a channel we dedicate to talking all things money. Today's money topic is how you can get more bang for buck from your chase points. Before jumping into the rankings and various methods to use your points, let's quickly all align to make sure that we all understand how we're going to actually measure the value of the points. Similar to how a thermometer tells you your temperature or a GPA tells someone how smart you are, we use a unit of measure called the cent per point. And to find the cent per point, you use the cent per point formula, which requires you to take the cash value of a redemption divided by the points you actually use and multiply by 100. And the baseline is having a cent per point value of 1. So let's say, for example, you wanted to use your points for something that would have cost $100 and you used 10,000 points. Well, 100 divided by 10,000 multiplied by 100 is 1 cent per point. And having a cent per point unit of measure allows us to compare all the different redemption options available. With your chase points, there's 3 broad buckets in which you can redeem your points. The first is converting to cash. The second is shopping and experiences, and the third is travel. I guess that technically that's 4 categories, but anyway, Chase categorizes it into 3. As we go through each one, I'll explain exactly the redemption method, the cent per point value, and of course my final ranking. And the ranking system is gonna go from D tier all the way to S tier. D tier is trash, C tier is basic, B tier is acceptable, A tier is premium, and S tier is the elite tier ranking, and this is probably the best way to use your points. The first category we'll talk about are the convert to cash options. So you log into your Chase account and you can see under convert to cash, you have 2 options. You can either use your points for cash back or use your points to pay yourself back. Let's take a look at the pay yourself back option. Once you click into here, you can see that you can use your points and selectively redeem it against charges on the card. So an example for me would be this Kava charge recently. And by the way, if you aren't already on Kava, let me put you on one. Kava absolutely bangs. So I spent $14.71 here, or I could use 1,471 points. Well, if we plug that into the cent per point formula, $14.71 divided by 1,471 multiplied by 100, you get a value of 1 cent per point, which is baseline. However, specifically for having the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I've got a promotion going on where I can earn a 25% bonus if I were to redeem these charges for certain categories. And those categories are wholesale clubs, pet supply and veterinary goods, gas stations, annual memberships, and select charities. So with a 25% bonus for certain categories, I would expect my cent per point value to actually be 1.25. And for select charities, it's actually 50%, so you would be getting 1.5 cent per point. Taking a look at all of this holistically, I would say this ranks right between B and C. If it was just 1 cent per point with no promotion, it's just basic. However, getting a little bit more than that at 1.25 or even 1.5, that's a little bit more acceptable. So it toes right on that line. The next redemption option is cashback under the same category of convert to cash. So here you're taking the points, and as the name would imply, you're taking it as straight cashback. You can have that deposit into a linked checking account. So the math on my end here is taking a little over 2.1 million Chase points and getting a little bit over $21,000 of cash back. If we go ahead and plug that into our cent per point formula, we get a value of 1 cent per point, which is good enough. It's baseline, but really it's just basic. This is definitely a C tier redemption. The next broad category that we can use our Chase points is within shopping and experiences. And the first one we'll look at here is pay with points. So we navigate up, click into here. With pay with points, you've got 2 options, either link an Amazon or PayPal account, and at checkout, instead of having to use a credit card, you can just use your Chase points. So let's calculate the cent per point value of PayPal. It says here that my points are worth about $17,039.03. We divide that by 2,129,879. Multiply all of that by 100, and we get a cent per point of 0.8. And since 0.8 is well below the 1 cent per point baseline, this is a D tier ranking, absolute trash. Do not use this redemption method. Heck, you could just swipe your card and then get cash back, or pay yourself with points and you'd still get 1 cent per point. Don't do this. The next redemption option is Apple. Specifically, you're just gonna go buy Apple products using your Chase points. So we navigate into the Apple menu here, and let's go ahead and take a look at an iPad. So this iPad Pro can be bought for $1,299, or you could go ahead and use 96,222 points. Well, we go ahead and plug that into our cent per point formula, multiply by 100, and we get a value of 1.35. not bad. However, we go back to the main menu and we actually see that it's because they're running a limited time promotion for Chase Sapphire Reserve cardholders where you get a 35% boost, which means you would expect on average to get a 1 cent per point value. So I say the Apple redemption method straddles the line between acceptable and basic. In a quick note, I checked for the Sapphire Preferred and that's getting a 15% bonus right now with Apple, and the Chase Freedom products are not getting any bonus whatsoever. So it seems like the range is 1 cent per point, 1.15 cent per point, and 1.35 cent per point if there's a promotion going on. The next redemption option is Chase Dining. Now this one is a little bit more specific to the Sapphire product, specifically a Sapphire Reserve. You can go in here and make reservations via the Talk platform and you'll get 10x on dining, which is great, but you can actually also reserve for dining experiences, and that's specifically what we're gonna talk about. So it looks like here you can use your points to redeem for this experience celebrating the 15th anniversary of Joseph Leonard, which would cost you $125 or 8,333 points. You plug that into the cent per point formula, multiplied by 100, and you get a value of 1.5. At just the CPP of 1.5, this is B tier, absolutely acceptable. And if these are some experiences at certain restaurants that you're interested in, this pushes it into that borderline of A. So I would rank Chase Dining as between A and B tier. The next redemption option is using your points to redeem specifically for experiences, not necessarily dining experiences. So you go in, navigate into the experience menu, you scroll down and look at all these options you can use your points for. Some of these points redemption options are publicly available, meaning that you can just go and purchase it. And some of them look like they're specific to card holders. The first one we'll look at are tickets to Lollapalooza. You can either spend $585 for these VIP tickets or spend 58,500 Chase points. Plug it into cent per point formula, that's a value of 1 cent per point. Other option we have is this mixology class. Now you can either purchase this for $80 or spend 8,000 points. You plug that into cent per point formula, you're also getting a 1 cent per point value. Overall, at 1 cent per value, this is just basic. And the last option within this category is using your points to purchase gift cards. Now we go ahead and navigate into here. You can see you can use your points to purchase gift cards from a bazillion different vendors. And so let's take a look at two. The first one is a personal favorite of mine, Chipotle. If you wanted to purchase a gift card from Chipotle, you can get a $10 gift card for 10,000 points. Plug that into the cent per point formula, that's a value of 1 cent per point, which is baseline. However, if you wanted to go for a Domino's, you could spend 9,000 Chase points for a $10 gift card. Plug that into the cent per point formula and you get a value of 1.11. A little bit better than baseline. Overall though, this is very much a C tier ranking. Maybe if there's strong promotions, you can push it a little bit higher to B, but it's not really an option I'm jumping up and down for. Now let's go into the third category, which I think is the most exciting, and that is using points for travel. And you have two options. You can either use your points for travel by booking through the Chase Travel Portal, or you can transfer your points to partners. Let's first focus on using your points for travel through the Chase Travel Portal. So we navigate into here. Let's say we want to take a trip between Newark and LA, flying on a United in economy. This ticket would cost you $203 one way, or you could spend 13,498 points. You plug that into the cent per point formula and you get a value of 1.5, which is smack bang A tier. However, keep in mind though, this is unique to the Sapphire Reserve. If we ran the same numbers through the Sapphire Preferred, you'd actually get a 1.25 CPP, and if you just ran through the regular Freedom, you would get a 1 cent per point formula. So the variation is between 1.5 to 1, which honestly I'd say spans from A to B to C tier. Now the final and last category, and certainly not least, taking your Chase points and transferring it to a partner, whether it be a hotel or flight partner. Now, this section is going to get dense. You might have to pause, you might have to take some notes, but if you can understand this section, you can master credit card points. So in the points and miles space, this is where I would say I focus 99% of the effort. Maybe sometimes I'll use points through the travel portal if it's an economy flight, but for the most part, I'm focusing here. So what you can do is earn points from your Chase credit cards and take the points and convert it into either airline miles or hotel points. And then you can use the award charts or the redemption methods on those airline and hotel programs to redeem. And typically you're gonna get very outsized value. So the transfer points is pretty straightforward. The one caution I have for you is once they go out, they're not coming in. So make sure that you have a good use for where you're transferring your points to. So a couple examples I wanna draw your attention to. Two of my favorite partners from Chase are Hyatt as well as Air Canada. So first example, let's take a look at Hyatt. Let's say you wanted to stay in New York City at the Park Hyatt, which is probably one of the glitziest Hyatts in the entire city. You can either spend $744 a night out of pocket, or you can spend 45,000 Hyatt points, which you can transfer from Chase. Well, you plug that into the cent per point formula, 744 divided by 45,000 multiplied by 100, you get 1.65 cents per point. But let's say New York City, not your cup of tea. You want to get abroad. How about to Paris? All right, staying at the Park Hyatt Paris is probably also one of the top creme de la creme Hyatt properties in the world. You can either spend 1,377 euro a night, or about 1,477 US dollars a night, or 45,000 Hyatt points, which you transfer from Chase. Well, you go ahead and plug that into the cent per point formula, and you get a cent per point of 3.28. Folks, that is over 3 times the baseline value, which is absolutely incredible. Now let's look at Air Canada. Let's say you wanted to get to Japan. Well, you can fly from LAX to Japan on Singapore Airlines, and you could do it in business class. This would cost you $5,124.30. Or you can go to Air Canada's website and spend 75,000 Air Canada miles and 78 Canadian dollars. So to find the cent per point value, there's actually a bit of a nuance here when it comes to specifically award bookings when you transfer your points to a program. The formula used to be the cash value divided by the points used multiplied by 100. But because you're gonna pay taxes and fees on flights, it's actually the cash value of the ticket minus the taxes and fees you did spend, and you divided that whole thing by the points you spent multiplied by 100. So in this instance, to find out the cent per point value of a business class flight from LA to Japan, you would do the following. $5,124.30 minus $56.75, and you take all of that and you divide it by 75,000 multiplied by 100, and you get a cent per point of 6.75. But wait, right now there's a 20% bonus for moving your Chase points to Air Canada. So in theory, if you want to make this booking, you would only need 63,000 Chase points. So we substitute 63,000 into that earlier formula, and we get a cent per point value of 8. Folks, 8x the baseline, insane. All right, admittedly, business class is cool, but what about first class? That champagne, caviar, zhuzh it up in that full lie flat seat. Well, you can fly from Boston, which is my home airport, over to Munich on Lufthansa's first class product. Cash value, this would cost you $14,532.30, which absolutely blows my mind. Or if you were to go on to Air Canada, you could redeem this for 90,000 Air Canada miles and 78 Canadian dollars. So we take the exact same formula earlier, $14,532.30 minus the taxes and fees, which 78 Canadian dollars converts to $56.75, and you divide all of that by 90,000 multiplied by 100, you get a cent per point value of 16. But wait, remember, there's a bonus going on right now of 20%. So it actually only requires 75,000 Chase points to transfer to Air Canada. You plug that into the formula and you get a cent per point value of 19.33. Ladies and folks, I hope the point has been clear. This is S tier. This is elite. This is the absolute best way to get the most value from your Chase points. It also is the way that requires the most effort and energy. But if you're willing and able to put in the work, you will absolutely reap the rewards. So folks, that is the final ranking. These are the 9 best ways to use your Chase points. I ranked them so that you don't have to. Comment questions down below if you think there are better ways or worse ways or things I might have not thought of. And as always, if you'd like to support my channel, I have some affiliate offers for some of my favorite credit cards in the link below as well. And I'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace!